On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Carlos Gonzalez, 25-01773. Appearance, please.
Haley Fortuna Gill on behalf of the people.
Jacob Riley on behalf of Mr. Gonzalez.
Gonzalez has a pre-trial today. This is for a domestic violence. How are we resolving this?
We would ask that this matter be set for final trial.
August 4th at 8. Trial, jury trial, September 22nd. Final pre-trial, August 4th, 8 a.m. in person at the court, and jury trial is going to be September 21st. I'm sorry, 22nd at 8 a.m. also in person at the court. Do you have any questions today, Mr. Gonzalez?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Yes.
Did you get? Okay, I've scheduled your matters for a final pre-trial and a jury trial. The final pre-trial is going to be August 4th. Jury trial is going to be September 22nd. Okay.
August 4th.
Excuse me.
August 4th at what time?
8 a.m. in person.
Okay.
Keep being held. Keep being held.
Nothing ever.
The note is that he denied being on probation, parole, or out on bond. So did you pick up something after this?
I'm trying to get to the. Headed the probation violation that any got.
He couldn't have a probation violation if he denied 2 weeks ago being on probation.
They hear a probation hearing on the 26th in the 55th district.
So are you on probation?
Yeah, it was revoked.
Excuse me?
It was revoked.
It was revoked.
It was revoked? When was it revoked?
On the 26th.
Okay, so when you were arraigned by Judge Ward on the 15th, you were on probation?
Yes, I misunderstood. I do apologize in the court.
Okay, he has a PR bond to convert this so that he can accrue time.
That would be my request. For
I'm in the bond of 510%. You're all set, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. What is this? I thought they said you paid. Yeah. He's here though, isn't he? No, yeah, he paid. He must have paid. I thought I just saw him. Is he here? Sir? Yeah, he's right here. That's the only thing we had today, right? Oh, that's why. Okay. Okay, State of Michigan versus Joseph Gordon, 24-02115. Appearance, please.
Haley Fortuna Gill on behalf of the people.
Jacob Riley on behalf of Mr. Gordon.
Okay, Mr. Gordon, we reset this because we were waiting to see what was going on in Eaton County.
I accepted a plea on 26 for 10 months in the Charlotte County Jail for transporting a person with.
How are we proceeding on this, counsel?
Honor, my client is prepared to admit guilt to this violation if he hasn't been pleaded to the consent.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. You understand that in this probation violation, you have the right to have a contested hearing.
Yes.
So you have the right to have the prosecutor and the probation department put on evidence or proofs to establish the violations that you've been accused of. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you wish to unconditionally waive your, I shouldn't say admission, do you wish to waive your hearing today?
Yeah.
Or do you want a hearing?
No, I don't want to.
Okay, you're looking at him like you're not sure.
I don't want to say nothing wrong. I'm just trying to. Work
Just
it
asking
through.
if you want a hearing today or no, it's
No,
up
I
to
don't want
you.
no hearing. just want
I don't
to-
think Mr. Riley cares if you have the hearing or not, but he's here either way to help you whichever route you want to take. Okay, so do you want to have the hearing or do you not want to hold it?
I don't want a hearing. I just want to.
You want to plead guilty?
Yeah.
Okay, and no one's threatening you to do that?
No,
No promises being extended to you if you plead guilty?
no.
Okay. And I think it's paid in full, so I'll give you that. As to the evaluation that per incident number 2025-899, defendant was arrested for felon in possession of a firearm on or about February 21st, 2025 in Eaton County. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Factual basis, Mr. Rowley.
Mr. Gordon, is it true that you were sentenced to a term of probation by this court in 2024?
Yes.
Is it true that in terms of that probation will prohibit from doing certain things, including possessing a firearm and committing crimes while in
Yes.
force?
Yes.
Is it true that you did plead guilty to the crime of possession of firearm by a prohibited person in Eaton County? And yet that event would have occurred while you were on probation?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any questions for you?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Okay, the court is satisfied with the factual basis. I'll accept your plea and find that you voluntarily and intelligently made. A recommendation is that we continue probation at this time. This is the defendant is progressing slowly but surely through the domestic violence program with CAP. It would be suggested / recommended to continue probation at this time, pending the status of his new case, which essentially we've done anyways. And you said there was a sentence, he's going to be sentenced when?
August 14th at 9 o'clock to 10 months in Eaton County Jail.
There's a COPS agreement to that sentence.
Okay. And you completed the PATS program?
I'm still in PATS. I completed anger management. I completed everything else. I got switched. You want to hear me or just kind of? Oh, I got switched from the guy class to the lady class. I never met the lady. Her name's Shakur. I never met her. She said that I owed $180, which you can't because you can't go to classes at 60.
Her name is Shakur?
Her last name is Shakur. Tanisha Shakur.
Tanisha Ashakur?
Shakur. Yeah.
I'm familiar.
So she texted me and said I had been moved to her class and that I owed $180. I said, I can't owe $180. She said, well, this is what's on the thing. Then she said, could you provide proof that you paid? I sent her
180 for what? For
for
this?
classes.
Oh, for the
Because,
class.
Yeah, you can't, you go $30 a class, but if you go over $65, as soon as you come into class, they'll send you out.
Okay.
So I couldn't owe that. And then I showed her the receipt for the $50 on the email. And she said, I don't want to argue with you. Just take it up with up front. And then I hadn't been to any other classes since then. And I talked to my probation guy. And he said, wait to see what happens here.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, did you want to make allocution?
Well, Your Honor, I do think overall, Mr. Gordon has done well on probation. There was that, as you mentioned, the issue with payment at PATS, but I think you certainly would be interested in completing that program, given the opportunity. Obviously, this 10 months jail sentence, and he's looking at this going to be an issue, but he certainly has no objection to continuing probation until that time. If it gives him a chance to complete his class.
Okay, you have a balance here of 395 as well, sir, is that correct?
That is for probation,
Correct.
so I have to pay that, yeah, I'll pay that, but what if, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I think that you need to continue with your domestic violence classes. That's what was ordered. If you can complete that before the time that you are going for your sentencing, I'll discharge you from this status successfully. Otherwise, I'll have to discharge you unsuccessfully. And then moving forward, if you're ever in a situation where you may want to do some probation, they'll see that, and that might prohibit you from getting probation in the future. So continue the classes if you can, and provide evidence of that. How many more classes did you have?
About half. Because during the holidays, everybody was gone, you know, so that did it. I've done like 25 classes plus the weekend. I paid all the money that up to that point. I paid this court off because you didn't have much fees here, but probation just started saying that you have to pay them something every month. So I've been paying them something every month. Because or it would be a violation. At first, it was just like, don't worry about it.
Oh, what do you mean you paid this court off?
You told me to pay, you wouldn't know, $380 something on probation.
This, I see you had a balance of 395 at the time of this violation. It was still there. Did you pay that?
They took it out of my taxes, out of my state taxes. This is for the court costs, not for probation costs.
Yeah, you owe 352 on this.
On the court costs?
Correct, on this file. We wouldn't take this out of your taxes.
Yeah, that's what they did. I could actually show you that, but, okay.
We wouldn't garnish, you're still on probation, so we wouldn't do that. Now, you had another matter that was scheduled today for show cause. I see that was
Yeah, I
resolved.
paid that.
Right. I don't know if you had another court case, but this particular case, you still owe 352 on.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't really know what's going on with what came out of your tax, but there's no order in this court
Can I say
to
something?
take
real quick?
anything out of your tax. Yes.
I never got no state taxes for years because my dogs I was going to court for my dogs. They were peeing like 10 feet away from, I never got no taxes. So I first got some taxes back this year and it said minus for something with the courts, for the court costs. So it wasn't like.
It's possible, but that doesn't mean it's this case.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, I got you.
that's possible, but it's nothing to do with this case. Okay, and you, again, I don't want you, I would prefer you worry about your classes versus the 395 or 352. That's my preference. The classes are gonna benefit you long term. And that's the preference of the court for your overall rehabilitation after you complete your term of probation. And even though you got a violation of this, a substantial violation that's leading you to have some jail time in another jurisdiction, I would still be willing to discharge you successfully if you were to complete those classes. So that's the order of the court. I'm going to continue your probation until the time that you go into custody at the department or Eaton County Corrections Department. I'm not sure where they're sending you. Eaton County Jail, I should say. And then if your classes are completed or even substantially completed, your probation officer can make a request to have you discharged, okay?
Thank you.
Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing on behalf of the people.
No, Your Honor.
Check in with Mr. Neves before you leave today, okay? Thank you. Let's see, State of Michigan versus John Heather, 24-01274. Is John Heather here? Oh, he's on, sir.
I
Mr.
am.
Heather, can you hear? Okay, you can hear me, sir?
I can hear, yes.
Okay, Mr. Heather, today's the date scheduled for a probation violation, and I have a request. And summons for probation violation. I have more than one, let's see. Okay. I have a request and summons for probation violation. This one is dated, signed by me June 16th, 2025. The allegations are that you committed the following technical probation violations, and that is that you tested positive for alcohol with an ETG of 8,805 nanogram per milliliter and an ETS 5,914 nanogram per milliliter at PATS on May 30th, 2025. I have another requested summons for probation violation that's signed by me on June 23rd, 2025. The allegations are that you failed to refrain from alcohol for Recorded Health Solutions on June 11th, 2025. You tested positive for alcohol with the results 8,885 nanogram per milliliter and 5,703 nanogram per milliliter ETS. So you have the right to have a contested hearing on these violations and the right to have the prosecution and the probation department put on proofs before the court to establish your guilt as to these violations. If you're found to be in violation of your probation status, your probation can be revoked or it could be extended. If it's revoked, you could be sentenced to a term of jail time. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you have the right to be represented by an attorney during the violation process. Did you want to request an attorney to represent you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. The court will enter a plea of not guilty for the violations and set it for a probation violation hearing.
July 14th at 1:30.
July 14th at 1:30 in person at the court, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he gonna meet with someone today? Oh, okay, very good. If you hang tight, we'll have Mr. Harris is gonna log in from the public defender's office to meet with you and get information, okay?
Sure thing. I'll wait.
Okay, do you have any questions at this time?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Harry Jackson here? Okay, on the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Harry Jackson, 24-02765.
Haley Fortuna Gill on behalf of the people.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Lauren Sutter on behalf of Mr. Jackson, who is standing to my right.
Okay, Mr. Jackson. We were scheduled for a hearing today. That's right. Okay. Looks like, did I see you on the 16th of June? I think is the last time I saw you. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, and my understanding is that since then, there's been two confirmed or allegations of confirmed consumptions of alcohol, June 20th, June 21st, June 22nd. And are we having a hearing today?
You're not, Your Honor.
Okay, you want to plead guilty? Just raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, put your hand down, sir, and you understand that you have the right to have a contested hearing on these allegations that you violated your probation by consumption of alcohol in various states. You understand that? Okay, and you wish to waive your hearing and plead guilty to these violations?
Yes, sir.
I'm just trying to see if this, oh, this is the old one, so it's supposed to be the new ones there. Okay. Okay, I think the violations that we are scheduled for hearing today, signed by Judge Buchanan in my absence, for failure to follow conditions of 4-02765. This is one violation. Another violation is for a confirmed SRAM tether from June 2nd that began at 6:16 p.m. on June 2nd and ended at 8 a.m. on June 3rd with a peak TAC of 0.062%. Another violation per Aberhart that he failed to test on May 21st, 2025. Another violation of a confirmed SRAM consumption on May 10th, 2025, that began at 3:02 a.m. on May 10th, 2025, and ended at 2:22 a.m. on May 11th, 2025, with a peak TAC of 0.08% for JSG SRAM confirmation consumption on May 26th, 2025, and that the event began on at 4 p.m. on May 26th and ended at 7 p.m. on May 27th, with a peak TAC of 0.055%. Those are the violations he will be pleading guilty to.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and it looks like I did sign a new warrant on the 23rd for probation violations per JSG SRAM. Confirmed consumption began at 11:20 p.m. June 9th and ended at 2:10 p.m. on June 10th. Peak TAC of 0.109 per JSG. And there was a SRAM confirmed consumption that began at 8:55 p.m. on June 18th and ended at 8:56 p.m. on June 19th. Peak TAC 0.202. And lastly, per JSG SRAM confirmed consumption, first event began at 1:30 a.m. on June 20th and ended at 9:09 a.m. June 20th, peak TAC 0.043. Second event began at 9:15 p.m. on June 21st and ended at 8:02 a.m. on June 22nd, 2025, with a peak TAC of 0.05. And would he be pleading not guilty to those, or is he?
Guilty, all charges.
And you understand your right to have a hearing, correct? Okay, no one's threatening you to give up your right to plead guilty?
That's right.
Okay. Factual basis.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I did just want to note, I have only received documentation for the 20th and 22nd. results.
Correct, I just arraigned him on the other two,
Right.
the last two ones, and he just said he wants to plead guilty to all of them. Which he tried to do at the last hearing, to be honest.
He did, Your Honor.
so.
It's actually the newer ones I've received. I haven't received the
Oh.
older ones.
Weird.
But he made quite clear to me this morning or today, it did not matter if he was intending to plead to them. So, Mr. Jackson, is it true that on or about December 17th of 2024, you underwent sentencing in front of Judge Simmons?
Mhm.
And
Yes,
as part of the conditions of that sentencing, you were put on a term of probation?
yes,
And part of those orders of probation were to refrain or stop drinking alcohol?
yes.
And is it true that on or about the dates that the judge has previously read on the record that you did consume alcohol?
I did.
And those resulted in a positive SRAM or urinalysis test?
Positive.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that satisfies the factual basis.
Any questions from the prosecution?
None, Your Honor.
Or is satisfied with the factual basis? I'll accept your plea and find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, and intelligently made. There was a extensive update that was provided from Ms. Bayless. Ms. Bayless also reached out to me with concerns about Mr. Jackson's health. The original recommendation was to terminate probation, and that it was highly suggested that jail time be imposed. That his overall attitude while on probation has been between fair and poor, but acceptance of responsibility has been poor and overall progress has been poor. Says defendant has been on probation since December 2024, but has made zero improvements. He continues to engage in non-compliant behaviors. Additional relevant information was provided regarding his progress while on probation, including a litany of failure to test some issues with testing, issues with, completing the GED program, which was a free program. Uh, the issues with completing cognitive behavior therapy, which is a free program, is non-compliance with enrolling and completing intensive domestic violence treatment, which was ordered and not complied with. There were payments that were not made on either this file or the other file ending in 2765. And a failure to report to probation in February 2025. And then he did not meet with the probation the following month on March 3rd, 2025. The officer states that officer has made numerous attempts to motivate this client to complete his probation conditions. This officer specially referred the client to some free programming for both CBT and a GED, which he still refuses to attend. Additionally, during the report day on March 20th, 2025, the defendant reported to falling off the wagon and using alcohol and drugs on a bender. This officer expressed to the defendant serious concern of safety, and welfare due to not being able to monitor his testing as he is not going as directed. This officer, during each meeting with the client, addressed what could be done to help him and asked him what help could be offered. It should be noted the defendant at every meeting always expressed a want to not continue probation as it is too much. On June 12th, 2025, during the defendant's report day via Zoom, the client, before even starting the meeting, expressed to the officer he no longer wanted to do probation. Client even on June 20th, 2025, told the officer he had a phone conversation with the defendant where he reported he is still consuming alcohol, not engaged in his required programming, that he does not like being told what to do. Since the start of the defendant's probation, he has failed to engage or be motivated to complete his terms and conditions. The defendant continues to display non-compliant behaviors, a poor attitude, and no want for rehabilitation. This officer had serious concerns during the pre-sentence interview regarding the term of probation for this client due to the history of non-compliance and prior probation revocations. This officer does not believe the client is suitable as a candidate able and willing to complete probation successfully. We can make allocution.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe Mr. Jackson would by and large agree with the summation of that report. That being that he's not someone who's capable at this point of completing probation. He's fully acknowledging of that. He's struggled enormously with the terms and orders of probation here. And he'll be the first to stand up and say it. Given that, Your Honor, he is asking the court to terminate his probation. I would note I conferred very briefly with Mr. Silverthorne, the original attorney of record on the underlying file, who noted at sentencing that this court had held 180 days in advance, given the successful completion of probation. My request today would be to limit, if possible, the jail to that, and I do believe he has 35 days credit already served.
He's gonna do 365 days.
Huh?
He's gonna do 365 days. I've never in the history of being on the bench, I know it's not been but short of 6 years, seen this many violations and a blatant disregard for court order.
Let's go.
Excuse me?
Let's go.
That's where you're going, but you're gonna wait till I'm ready. Put the bag down. And the reason why he's gonna do it is because he's not done anything. He's done completely nothing, even when it was free. I've had other violations, other attempts to try to bring him into compliance. He refuses. And so for his own health and wellness, he needs to sit down for a year and get some treatment while he's in custody.
Yes, let's go.
Understood, Your
That's
Honor.
what I need.
Excuse me?
For to go home. Listen, I agree totally what you say. Make
That's
this
it. No problem. 365 days Ingham County Jail, credit for, I'm trying to see.
There was 35 days originally noted on the PSI. I don't know if he's accrued additional time since then.
Yeah.
I don't have any days on here. I have a PSI here, and on my judgment of sentence, it didn't have any days noted.
I went through Mr. Silverthorne's notes. He indicated,
I'm trying to understand why he would have 35 days. Was he in custody?
he had originally on this, a cash or surety bond, and I believe he was in custody for 35 days before that either converted or he posted. That was from November of 2024, I believe, through his sentencing. I can double check the dates. November 23rd of 2024, he was given a $10,000 cash or surety bond, and I believe that was when this started. The 35 days.
That's what I see. I do see that. Okay. Okay, I'll give him credit for 35 days. He'll serve the remaining balance in Ingham County Jail. No earned early release additional to the 35 days and no GPS title release.
So you got credit.
35 days.
I'll get no need. Dang.
Let's see. Although those four were all his. Okay. I'm sorry. Did he have, maybe that was why it's on this, it's on, he had two files. That makes sense. That's why it's on.
Yeah, he pled 3478 and 2765. I think were all handled contemporaneously.
I think that that one was amended to the PR in October. You said the original? What board?
Yeah,
Which one?
all of it.
Now, would the court mind if I
It's a restart from the beginning.
the court mind if I step down to lockdown and speak to Mr. McReynolds before his?
That's fine.
I only have one other hearing, and it's the non-public one. That's the end of the docket.
Okay, sounds good. Mr. Raleigh. Apparently, Mr. Gordon was removed from programming due to poor attendance, and he would have to start from scratch. So I'm just gonna have his probation officer discharge him from probation unsuccessfully because,
Okay,
You said, did you want to come back up? Yeah.
yeah, they can come back up. Okay. He's being brought back up. Were they supposed to put someone, oh no, she went to go talk to Reynolds. What's up with Knox though?
Knox is in custody. He's
Downstairs?
Downstairs.
Okay. Casino here?
He's here.
Okay, on the record, in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Francisco Casino, 24-03223 appearance.
Haley Fortuna Gill on behalf of the people.
Jacob Riley on behalf of Mr. Casino.
Okay, Mr. Casino has a probation violation hearing today. Are we holding a hearing?
No, Your Honor, this will be.
Mr. Casino, if you raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay. You understand you have the right to have a hearing on the violations that are being alleged against you today? And you want to waive that hearing? Or means that the prosecution and the probation will not put forth any proof that you violated as alleged. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone threatening you to give up your hearing today?
No, Your Honor.
Any promises in exchange for you pleading guilty to the violation?
No, Your Honor.
As to the violation from June 4th, that per Health, the defendant tested positive for alcohol on May 9th, confirmed on May 16th with ETS greater than 25,000 nanogram per milliliter. Sorry, that was an ETG greater than 25,000 nanogram per milliliter and an ETS 6,538.8 nanogram per milliliter. How do you plead? Actual basis.
Mr. Casino, is it true that you were sentenced to a term of probation by this court, I believe in January of this year? Yes. And was one of the terms of that probation that you were required, well, first of all, that you were not to consume any alcohol or drugs without prescription while on probation? Yes. Were you also required to undergo regular testing during your probation? Yes. Is it true that you violated your probation by testing positive for alcohol on May 9th? Yes.
Any questions from the prosecution?
No questions.
Court is satisfied with the factual basis. I find your plea to be pleading voluntarily and intelligently made. The recommendation is to continue probation at this time, since jail is not suggested at this time, that the overall attitude of the defendant has been good, acceptance of responsibility has been good, and overall progress has been good. It says Francisco has a good attitude regarding probation. He had been doing well, it says, up until this positive test. His 2 subsequent tests have not come back yet. I would imagine that those have come back at this time. I don't see any further violation. You can make allocution.
Yes, Your Honor, it's my understanding that Francisco has been overall doing well in probation. Really, the only problem he's had has been this positive test. And he certainly admits responsibility and knows that that is not something that we continue to do. And I think he's going to complete his probation successfully and avoid any further violations. He certainly does not want to risk the consequences of it.
I tend to disagree with a portion of this. I think that although your attitude is probably good, and acceptance of responsibility is good, your overall progress can't be good if I'm here with a violation. It can only be fair. That means it could be better. There's room for improvement. So I want you to understand that although at this time I'm not going to impose any additional sanction on you, that if you have another positive test or violation, that's not going to put you in a good light. You're going to be looking at either jail time or some increased sanctions and oversight. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you've done, pretty good up to this point, because I put you on probation in January. You've come this far without seeing you, so don't blow it, okay? Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm gonna continue your probation. It says your probation is scheduled to end November 15th, 2025. you were advised of how you can request early discharge, and if you hadn't had that setback right there, you probably would have been eligible. I don't know where you are with any programming, but you'll continue your probation and you'll meet with Mr. Neves before you leave for today, okay?
Okay,
Thank you, you're all set.
thank you.
And so McReynolds is downstairs and Knox is downstairs. Who's representing Mr. Knox?
I am.
Have you spoken with him already? Okay, so he can be brought up. Oh. This is who?
This is Mr. Knox.
Okay, you ready with Mr. Knox? Or let's get Mr. Gordon taken care of first. I'm back on the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Joseph Gordon, our council appearance.
Haley Fortuna Gill on behalf of the people.
Jacob Riley on behalf of Mr. Gordon.
Okay, Mr. Gordon, you were brought back up because further information was provided from your probation officer that you actually would have to begin your DV classes from the beginning because you were discharged from the program due to lack of attendance. So because of that, I really have no choice but to discharge you unsuccessfully from probation, okay? Okay. You have any questions at this time?
No, you said it just looked bad, right?
Yeah, but my hope would be that you're not looking to try to get in trouble
I got
to
you.
get on probation anyway, so it should be a non-issue.
Okay.
But if you intend to continue in a life of crime, then, you might be in some trouble about getting probation in the future. I'm not saying that it's prohibitive, but I mean, we look at that, the probation could say, what, this person's not a good candidate. They've been revoked before, so other than that, you're all set.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. On the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Carl Knox, 24-02343, appearance, please.
Haley Fortuna Gill on behalf of the people.
Jacob Riley on behalf of Mr. Knox.
Okay, Mr. Knox has a probation violation hearing scheduled for today. Are we having a hearing?
Well, no, Your Honor, it's a little complicated. So Mr. Knox has a number of alleged violations that are subject of pending felony cases. I think are both set for exam in July. But he also has one violation for not completing his required counseling or not enrolling in required counseling, which is a separate issue. We could address
I couldn't hear what you said after that.
it. We would be prepared to address that. It does not implicate him in any of the cases, so I think that would be safe to address.
Okay, so let me find that. Okay, the bulk of the violations stem from new pending charges
Yes.
that have a okay, I think I arraigned him on one. Let's see here. Displayed assaultive behavior on or about April 23rd, and then there was another one. Displayed assaultive behavior on or about May 2nd. So those are the ones that have a pending exam in July.
Yes, he has two separate penalty cases, both set for exam on July 18th.
Okay, I'll reset all the violations. After his exam, reset.
July 21st at 1:30.
July 21st at 1:30. You have any questions today, Mr. Knox? Okay, any additional matters for the record?
Nothing on behalf of the people.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I'm assuming if she's ready with McReynolds.
Yeah, she's down there talking to him right now.
Okay, and what about